Let's talk about that one you love in your life. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. Getting past that time when you went, ooh, I like what I see.
He's cute.
She's
cute.
like, I like her. Beautiful person in the room. I want to get to know it. So getting past all that stuff, what about the moment that you learned, oh, this is why I really like this person? It's Rob and Liz on his radio.
Yeah, I will say with Joey, it was his compassion. And I learned that on our first date because I was a single mom at the time. And when I dated, I would not introduce my daughter Taylor to anybody. It just so happened our babysitter had an issue, and so she was there. And I remember him getting down on her level, getting down on, so he could look her straight in the eye and have a conversation.
So he had to get
her.
down on his knees, basically.
Exactly,
right?
Because she was 6. And just the conversation that he had with her on her level, not as I am an adult, I am, dating your mother and you will respect. It was more, hey, what's up, kid?
That is so good.
Yeah.
There's this whole article, things that matter more than looks when it comes to the love that you have in your life.
Yeah.
Like the sense of humor, liking each other, communicating needs, the big word of respect.
Oh, yes.
And
that's
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When did that become real for you? I mean, you married them for a reason, right? Well, here's the number. Why not join the conversation today at 800-447-7234.
Yeah.
His morning crew.
God brought you two together, and maybe at first it was like, I like how they look.
Sure, of course it was.
But it's so much beyond that. We're kind of wondering, how did you learn that? What is the story at 800-447-7234?
Yeah, like I was saying, my husband Joey, it was his compassion. I knew he was a sweet, sweet guy. We talked on the phone for a couple of weeks before we actually met, and my daughter ended up meeting him on that very first date, which was not normal, but he took the time to not only try to get to know me, but to get to know her on her level, because she was like 6 years old.
That spoke volumes to you.
Oh, believe me, swoon. Totally swooning.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Joey, way to go, man. Yeah. That is awesome. 800-447-7234. What about you, Karen? You're on his radio.
We met when I was 15-ish, so by the time I was 18, we were both in a band together. He played drums and I sang, and he would give me rides back home. He always put me first. He always respected me. He never did anything that I didn't want him to, and he was just a gentleman.
How did you guys get into a band together?
We had a friend in common as well in the band, and he was like, hey, I'm making up this band. Do you want to sing? So he had to ask my mom for permission. Since he's my husband now.
I love this. Asked mom to have you be the lead singer in the band. Okay.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that probably spoke volumes to Mama as well.
You know it. That is respect. You're right, Karen. Well, what about you? You can join the conversation. 800-447-7234. It's his morning crew. Good morning.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
When did you actually knew? What was that thing that they did? It's like, okay, it's what's on the inside that counts. 800-447-7234. It's his morning crew.
Yeah, some people say it was their sense of humor, because if you have an odd sense of humor and they get it, then you're like, oh, this is my person. This is it.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful attribute. But when it comes to the humor, what was the thing? I mean, what did they say? What did they do? Where were you? What in the world happened?
Yeah.
Spill the beans, would you?
We want to hear about it.
Give us the details. 800-447-7234. Hi, Kat. How about you?
I managed a restaurant. Long story short, his sister felt like they were just led there to eat that day. And so she met me and she says, you would be perfect for my brother. And I was like, I do not date. I've been through some things anyway. And he was a pastor, and I had prayed that the Lord would send me a godly man whenever the time came. Well, he came to meet me, and he asked for something that was not even on our menu, fruit. And I was like, we have fruit. I fixed him a fruit bowl. Well, when he left, all of a sudden, some flowers had arrived, and on it was a scripture. It's a scripture from Job. It was Job 4, and my ears have heard of you, and now my eyes have seen you. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. I knew it was it, because I wanted a godly man in my life, and to use the Lord's word, was the most precious thing to me. And we had many years of marriage, and we lost him this December 23rd. But we know that he is healed, and he is with the Lord today. And I had a wonderful, wonderful life with my husband, and he was a godly man, and it was just precious. And I treasure every moment of my life with him.
Wow, Kat. My heart. Oh, my. And I love, Kat, how it's your sister-in-law that was like, how about her? I mean, you're a waitress.
Matchmaker,
yeah.
make me a match.
And then you took the time to make him fruit. I mean, that's not even on the menu, Kat. And then he sent you the scripture through the flowers. Right. It was just like, that was so God.
Right.
You know?
He used God's words, but at the same time, he knew how to get to your heart as well through the flowers. That was the attraction, and then he brought it home with the word.
I'm looking forward to the movie, Kat. Will you let us come to the red carpet? Because that is just a beautiful love story.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
You fell in love, and then you fell in love not because of the attraction, so to say. That's what first got your attention.
Right.
But it was what was on the inside that all of a sudden just really stuck out to you. You know, the reason why God put you two together in the first place. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
Yeah, so Leanne said, my husband is notorious for slightly changing names of people to poke a little fun at them. And he does it to anybody and everybody, okay? So right after they met, I guess she dropped the name Tom Brokaw instead of Tom Brokaw in talking about Tom Brokaw. And he was like, okay, you're now my person. Like, we are getting married.
We are soulmates for life.
Exactly.
We think the same. That's pretty awesome. I love that. Christy is along with us at 800-447-7234. What about you, Christy?
I knew that he was the one when he started finishing my sentences. And we went to Six Flags one time, and we both liked to sing. And we went into one of those recording studios, and we did a song and come back and realized that, okay, this is what God wants us to do.
What was the song?
It was one by the judge. Something about sitting on the porch swing or something. I don't even remember.
Grandpa. Was it Grandpa?
It was.
So what's happened since that day?
After we got married, we started singing in church, leading worship. It was just crazy.
His morning crew.
Couple of quick questions for you, and you can play along. It's not going to be tough questions whatsoever. I'm just curious. What do you call the things that you put in your ears? They're like jewelry. What do you call those?
Earrings.
Earrings, okay.
Yeah.
Another question for you. When you go get your hair cut, where do you go?
To my hairdresser or the salon.
All right. And the thing that you put your food in to be frozen, what do you call that?
The refrigerator?
Okay.
Or the fridge?
Okay. All right answers, unless your grandma. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, because she calls things seriously.
Yeah.
Grandma, or maybe great-grandma in your family, calls things just a little differently. Like, for instance, I had no idea, but when it comes to the earrings, they are earbobs.
Yes, my husband's grandmother, the first time I ever met her, she told me this whole story about how she had given somebody earbobs. And I sat there for I don't know how long going, I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, I had never heard that before. And it was earbobs. She was talking about earrings.
So my son's great-grandma, she said, go ahead and put your coats on the Davenport. I had no idea what she was talking about. I'm like, I looked all over, and I looked at my wife, and I said, will you please show me the Davenport? I have no idea what to do with these coats. And she laughed at me, and she said, it's the couch.
Did she say it like, put those coats on the Davenport?
No, she's from.
It sounds like it
she's from Michigan, so it came out totally different than that. I promise you.
Never heard that. The Davenport.
Yeah. Now I've always referred to the icebox as the icebox.
Really?
Instead of the frozen part of the refrigerator. The freezer. Some people call it the freezer.
Sure. And
the freezer could be what's outside or a part of your refrigerator.
Now, I have heard icebox, but I don't remember my grandparents saying that.
The one that got me was what grandma calls, or great-grandma in your family, calls toys.
Yes. My grandmother said this.
What is it?
Play pretties.
Play pretties.
Why?
I never heard that before in my life, but evidently it's grandma speak.
Yeah, put the play pretties up. I mean, kid now their neck would like twist real hard. What are you talking about?
That's toys. I had no idea. Yeah. My grandmother never called it that when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah, mine did. They said
Play pretties?
my southern grandmother said it. I don't think my northern grandmother said it.
So she didn't go, go get the play pretties.
No, it was put your play pretties up from the southern grandma.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. And a handbag, a pocketbook. But I still hear pocketbook. I think pocketbook is a little
That's
more
normal to me.
universal. Yeah, but they're saying that it's more of a handbag now or a purse.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a merce.
Do you?
That's what some people call it. It's a briefcase
Exactly.
with a satchel or
Yeah, strap.
a strap on it.
Because it holds your laptop and your other other things.
Some people look at me and go, he's got a merce. I'm like, it's a briefcase.
Right? It's my laptop holder.
Yeah,
Stop it.
it's my man bag.
Yeah, exactly. Man
I
bag,
thought it
that's
was
what-
more like, the dude from 24.
What?
You know what I'm talking
Kiefer
about?
Sutherland? Is that who
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Anybody watch 24?
I do not. I never
Come
have.
on.
And I like him, but I've never watched that.
Okay. Well, I'm on my own on this one.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
It's called, believe it or not, grandma speak. Those things that great grandma used to call things. And we just call it different. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew at his radio.
Yeah, and Irene says, my grandmother used to call the refrigerator a Kelvinator.
Kelvinator?
I have no idea what
I don't even
that
know if
is.
that was a brand, the Kelvinator.
Right. Like Westinghouse was one because my grandmother worked for Westinghouse, but I don't remember Kelvinator.
That's a throwback.
I know.
Westinghouse.
Right?
To still have one of those fridges?
I don't think there's still any around, but that's where she worked.
800-447-7234. Here's Brenda. What about your great-grandma, Brenda?
My granny and my mama used to call a bedspread a counterpane, Counterpane.
Where did they come up with that word?
I was too little. I never thought to ask them. And then, as I got older, we referred to it as a bedspread.
Because that's what it is.
It is.
Counterpane. It sounds like it hurts.
It does a little
I
bit.
know. Yeah, I don't know the...
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Talking about the grandma speak, those things that your grandma or great-grandma would call things. 800-447-7234.
Tammy says a bag was called a poke. I don't know where it came from, but she said, so that's what they called, I guess, paper bag or plastic bag. And then Gina said, my mother has an old hexagon-shaped side table that she refers to as the commode.
Wait a minute. That's... I've learned the commode is a toilet.
It's something else.
Not
yeah.
a hexagon-shaped side table.
No, and she says, I have no idea why she does it. She calls the other ones by their names,
The toilet?
like an end table or whatever.
Oh, the
Yeah,
table,
the other
not
table.
the commode.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the commode.
I mean, can you imagine? Here, bring me a coaster for the commode. What?
Ew.
What?
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
But that's cool, Gina. That's a lasting memory of grandma.
Oh, definitely. Well, that's her mom that does that.
Oh, her
even.
mom calls.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well,
that's wild.
I'm not going to question it.
No, I'd.
We
write
love
that
you,
down.
Gina. Jody's here at 800-447-7234. Great grandma speak for you, Jody.
She used to call the refrigerator the icebox.
What do you call it?
I always called it the refrigerator because that's what my parents referred to it as, but I knew what she meant by icebox. And it literally was a box of ice when they were young.
True that, yeah.
They had the Iceman came by.
Nobody delivers ice anymore.
No, but my grandfather was a milkman. That's how they met. He delivered milk out to the rural
Get
places.
out! This is like the movies.
Oh, yeah, that's how they met. She wouldn't talk to him, but he stuck his foot in the door until she would talk to him.
No way. Oh, Gramps. He's a persistent guy.
Yes, it was quite the love story.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
It's safe enough to say that your kids, my kids, are a product of the screens that we have in front of us all the time. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. I mean, between the iPads and the smartphones and the games and computers, it's screen time all the time.
Yeah, just hand a kid a magazine and see what they do with it. They try to swipe the pages, not turn them. They try to swipe them.
You're right.
It's wild. It's like, what?
Some computers you can swipe now.
Yeah.
The newest computer, which we got, it was like $200.
Yeah.
That thing swipes.
Really?
The computer,
haven't even
the
seen
laptop computer that we have.
Wow.
It swipes because we had to get it for virtual
sure.
school stuff
Yeah.
and all that other.
Huh.
So there was a nice little sale. Hello.
Always
I like
find
those.
a sale, yeah.
I like those.
There's some moms that are saying turn the subtitles on when your kids are watching TV shows or whatnot, because it's going to help them read.
Yeah, it's a whole movement, right?
Yeah.
So people say, just turn on the subtitles, and it actually will help.
Yeah, they say that kids will absorb the words, even if they're not, actively you're telling the kids to read everything, that they will just absorb what's on the screen. They'll hear it, and then it just, helps them put the two together. Hopefully the words are right, because sometimes you'll watch things and the way somebody pronounces a word will come out differently.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I think that I might try is a game, and that is put on a familiar movie that the family knows, turn off the sound, and act it out on the screen. It's almost like movie karaoke. Is that what you would call it? Movie karaoke? I love that idea.
I want to come over for game night if y'all are doing that. That sounds like fun.
Act the thing out. Put on the Star Wars uniforms. I want to be a stormtrooper.
His morning crew.
Michael's along with us this morning at 800-447-7234. What's up, Michael?
Well, I heard you talking about turning off the sound or just reading the subtitles and, acting it out, We used to do that, and it was called charades.
You charaded to subtitles on movies and stuff?
Well, we played the black and white old movies like that and had nothing on there at that time. And we would act out the movies, which is what a lot of people have seen several times, but just to check it out. But, yeah, we used to call that playing, charades.
That's not a bad idea. I don't know if I'd call it charades when we do the newer movies.
No, probably not, but I haven't played charades in forever. My boys don't like playing charades. They don't like acting things out.
Well, would they do that with the words on the screen to a movie they like?
I don't think so. I know my daughter Taylor and I would have a blast doing that, but the boys aren't really into doing that kind of thing.
Well, let them watch.
They'll just sit there and look at us like,
Well, make them read.
There you go.
They can do the narrator part.
Oh, yeah. I
Whatever
can do
that would be.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah, see, give it a try. By the way, there's a whole movement of people saying because kids aren't learning to read, put the subtitles on the screen and see if they'll read that. That might help.
Yeah.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I need a reset.
Sometimes we do a reboot every day.
I need a do-over. Like right now. Do you mind if I do a do-over right now? So here's Kristen. Kristen May is a writer, and her son is like 14, and she is just very grateful that the virtual school, school's been so different. I don't need to tell you that. You know that whole story. But where her son goes to school, her 14-year-old, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
Right.
But they get to do a retake if it was like really horrible the first time through.
Right. And they get 3 chances.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, here's what I think. I agree with this. I think you should, especially with the way virtual school has changed. Not everybody learns the same. And I know that at least one of my kids has struggled with virtual school. But you give them another chance, they learn. Don't you learn from your mistakes? I mean, that's the whole premise.
Well, here's one thing that they do. The school that they go to will redo the questions, meaning that they jumble them around, so it's not in the same order, and they add different ones. So they'll take away some questions and add some other questions. So it's not like, let me just memorize this, find out the answers, and then I'll just fill in the blanks because of all that.
Right.
Instead, they jumble it up, mix it up, and then add a few more.
Yeah, so they kind of get a sense of how the test is going to go, but they are still learning. They go back and study a little bit more and learn a little bit more, and it's showing that the kids are actually doing a whole lot better.
And one of the things that she found was like the high poverty schools, 1 in 3 teachers said their students are significantly behind in what they are in their studies. And so this is a big help for a lot of students for schools that actually do that.
Yeah, I think both of my sons have had teachers that have allowed them to retake a test if, like you say, it's horrible. And, that's just showing a little grace and mercy to our kids, and they are learning. If they're getting better grades, they're learning.
Well, in a virtual world, I think sometimes it's kind of needed.
Yeah.
For a little reset and a reboot there.
His morning crew.
Happy 50 years to Igloo. And I'm not talking about the igloos from, in Alaska.
Right.
I'm talking about the thermos or, well, what do you call those
Yeah,
things?
like
the coolers.
A cooler. Yeah, 50 years old. Really?
50 years
Had no idea.
of Igloo.
Huh.
And so they're going to do a throwback, and the throwback is the Playmate. The Playmate is, how would you describe this cooler?
Like the lid sort of twists back. It can go either way, correct? If
That's
you push
right,
the little
yeah.
buttons.
Big handle on the top.
Yes.
It looks like a roof.
Yes.
In a sense.
Right.
A lot of people brought it off to the beach.
All the time.
Yeah.
Take it to the lake. I remember us loading up the little Igloo cooler and going to the lake when I was little. Yeah.
Off to the park, do
Right.
a picnic. Maybe it was an extreme lunchbox at school.
They did have those lunch boxes, the
They're
little zipper
smaller.
ones. Yeah.
The-
much smaller.
yeah, much smaller. So I had no idea how much Igloo had made. It was, for me, it was always a cooler.
Yeah.
I know they did all this other stuff.
Yeah, I knew they did like the water bottle. It's a personal water bottle, but it's great big. It must hold like a 64 ounces of drink or something like that.
I'd love to put water in that.
Yeah.
Just carry it around. I need it.
Well, if you go hiking, that would be awesome. Or biking. Well, maybe not biking. I don't know where it would go on your bike. It's quite
It's a
large.
big thing, yeah.
It's like a big jug.
We got back pockets for road cyclists.
Right.
And then they do they call them fanny packs anymore?
They do.
They do? Okay. I remember
don't-
the fanny pack. That thing was so big.
I do not like the fanny pack at all. I didn't like it back in the
What's
day.
wrong with a fanny pack?
I don't know. I don't like the way I look wearing a fanny pack. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, I don't like that silhouette. No. I don't want to add any more girth right there. Nope.
Fanny packs are in style, though.
If you're The Rock, he wears them every now and then. I don't get it.
Well, The Rock has abs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No.
All you see on me with a fanny pack is the Dunlop stuff. The belly's just kind of competing with a fanny pack.
Well, the only abs I have is if I have my fanny pack full of a 6-pack of Coke or something.
Oh, boy.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I'm really not sure what to think of makeup that is food that you're smearing all over your face. It doesn't make sense. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
It's from the Elf Cosmetics company. They've teamed up with Chipotle, which is really strange, but they have like makeup palettes and lipsticks and even like some of the makeup applicators that are inspired by Chipotle. I don't get it.
So what is it, like lipstick with avocado in it and you rub it all over your lips? I mean, what's this?
As far as I know, it doesn't have any food actually in it. The colors are inspired by Chipotle. So most of the colors in the eyeshadow palette, I'm pretty cool with, but it is the color of some of the ingredients of guacamole. So like there's a color that's almost like the garlic powder, and there's a color that's almost close to the red onion, which is really more purple. But then there are green that represent the avocado. I don't get those two
Would you wear
colors.
that?
I would wear everything probably in that palette except for the two greenish gold ones. One of them looks like a baby diaper happened.
What do you mean? What's in the baby
yes,
diaper?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then the other one looks like an actual
Looks like a baby
avocado.
diaper happened.
No.
They'll do anything these days. Like, they'll come up with anything. I can't believe it.
No, they've done like the Baby Yoda. Not this company, but other companies have done a Baby Yoda inspired palette.
Well, let's go back to the
but this
Chipotle
one,
thing.
yeah, it's
So do
Chipotle.
they have like a color inspired for the tortilla?
Sort of. It's more of like I would call a highlighter. So a highlighter, and I'm showing the guys in the room where you put a highlighter if you're using eyeshadow, but it goes like above here. So you put one base color across the eyelid,
And then
okay?
above the eyelid, just under the eyebrow, is
And
the other
then-
one?
Well, yeah, but then you've got one in the middle that's generally a little bit darker.
Oh, you lost
blend
me.
all
I'm
those
sorry.
together.
Forget it.
But they
Forget
have a makeup applicator that is in the shape of an avocado.
So what's the color of what is it? The hot sauce and the
So yes, it looks like the peppers are for your lips, and then in the eyeshadow palette, it would be like an accent. I would never wear that color on my eyes because it doesn't look good for me.
what about the
so.
hamburger meat?
Yeah, I would wear that.
You got hamburger meat
It's not
color?
exactly hamburger meat. It's more
What?
gold and obviously it's got sparkle in it, so I would wear that.
Do you smell like a Chipotle taco when you walk out?
It's not. I know that a lot of people say Chipotle is my life, but I'm not a big fan of Chipotle.
well, for the makeup.
I don't. No, I'll stick with the palette that
And
I
you're
have.
wait a
I like
minute.
it.
Did you say you're not a fan of Chipotle?
I'm not a fan.
What planet are you from?
I know. Oh, my
What
kids.
is- what's wrong?
They're like, what is your deal, lady?
You're right.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Dude's going to pay your way. He's going to pay your way to go into space. Seriously. He wants to pay for you. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. Sign me up. This Japanese billionaire. I can't pronounce his name. Don't even ask. But he's going.
Yeah.
He's paid for himself to go, and he's going to pay for others to join him.
Like 8 different people. He says, if it will add to your job, you got to kind of state your case online and apply for it, but he will pay your entire way, which is wild. I think TJ even already signed up, in our video producer. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I signed up the other day. It was super easy. Like, they don't ask for a whole lot of information right away, and they'll make the initial picks sometime in March, and then from there you'll probably state your case of why you should go and everything else like that.
Well, see, the thing goes, 2023, right? So we're a couple of years away from that, and it's Dear Moon, so I don't know. Do you land on the moon or just kind of circle it?
No, you just circle it. So you'll spend 3 days going out to it and then 3 days coming back.
So you go, look at it, say, yo, and then come back.
That's right.
That still would be pretty cool.
Did you turn in your vacation request yet?
Nope, not yet.
You do need to see if you're allowed to take vacation that way. You do know this, don't you?
I think we'll let him go, wouldn't we, if he gets chosen?
Please?
Well, I'll think about it.
Okay.
I think about it because I kind of want a seat too.
Wow, that would be
if
so
you
cool.
if you could go, if we could, you know what? We do need to have a morning show from space.
Rob and Liz in space.
That would be, although that's selfish, isn't it? There's others who deserve that.
Tell you what, I'll give up my seat because it freaks me out a little bit.
No.
So I'll stay back here grounded
No.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
I don't
Come
think I
on.
can take the G-forces. Like, I can't.
Oh,
dude,
once you get past that, you'll love
I can't
it.
go on roller coasters.
Yeah, what happened?
Trying to get you on a roller coaster is like pulling teeth. Now you're going to go into space?
See, yeah, I don't even know about that.
I'm telling you. Okay, you can do it. You can do it. It's space.
You can do it.
It's the final frontier.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Couple of quick questions for you, and you can play along. It's not going to be tough questions whatsoever. I'm just curious. What do you call the things that you put in your ears? They're like jewelry. What do you call those?
Earrings.
Earrings, okay.
Yeah.
Another question for you. When you go get your hair cut, where do you go?
To my hairdresser or the salon.
All right. And the thing that you put your food in to be frozen, what do you call that?
The refrigerator?
Okay.
Or the
very
fridge?
Good. Okay. All right answers, unless your grandma. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, because she calls things seriously.
Yeah.
Grandma, or maybe great-grandma in your family, calls things just a little differently. Like, for instance, I had no idea, but when it comes to the earrings, they are earbobs.
Yes, my husband's grandmother, the first time I ever met her, she told me this whole story about how she had given somebody earbobs. And I sat there for I don't know how long going, I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, I had never heard that before. And it was earbobs. She was talking about earrings.
So my son's great-grandma, she said, go ahead and put your coats on the Davenport. I had no idea what she was talking about. I'm like, I looked all over, and I looked at my wife, and I said, will you please show me the Davenport? I have no idea what to do with these coats. And she laughed at me, and she said, it's the couch.
Did she say it like, put those coats on the Davenport?
No, she's
that's
from.
The way it sounds like it
she's
would come
from
out.
Michigan, so it came out totally different than that. I promise you.
Never heard that. The Davenport.
Yeah. Now I've always referred to the icebox as the icebox.
Really?
Instead of the frozen part of the refrigerator. The freezer. Some people call it the freezer.
Sure.
And the freezer could be what's outside or a part of your refrigerator.
Now, I have heard icebox, but I don't remember my grandparents saying that.
The one that got me was what grandma calls, or great-grandma in your family, calls toys.
Yes. My grandmother said this.
What is it?
Play pretties.
Play pretties.
Why?
I never heard that before in my life, but evidently it's grandma speak.
Yeah, like put the play pretties up. I mean, kid now their neck would like twist real hard. What are you talking about?
That's toys. I had no idea. Yeah. My grandmother never called it that when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah, mine did. They said
play
my southern grandmother said it. I don't think my northern grandmother said it.
So she didn't go, go get the play pretties.
No, it was put your play pretties up from the southern grandma.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. And a handbag, a pocketbook. but I still hear pocketbook. I think pocketbook is a little
That's
more
normal to me.
universal. Yeah, but they're saying that it's more of a handbag now or a purse.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a merce.
Do you?
That's what some people call it. It's a briefcase
Exactly.
with a satchel or a
strap.
a strap on it.
Because it holds your laptop and your other
other
things.
Some people look at me and go, he's got a merce. I'm like, it's a briefcase.
Right? It's my laptop holder.
Yeah, it's my man bag. I thought it was more like the dude from 24.
What?
You know what I'm talking
Kiefer
about?
Sutherland? Is that who you're talking about?
Anybody watch 24?
I do not. I never
Come
have.
on.
And I like him, but I've never watched that.
Okay. Well, I'm on my own on this one.